Hello, randos, and welcome to another episode of Random Tables. My name is Michael. I am your solo player and host, and today I am joined by Nick from Scry Society. This way. Hey, Nick, why don't you give everybody your spiel about who you are, where they can find you, and all that jazz?
Yeah, my name is Nick. You can find me at 178 South 4th Street and no, just new bit I'm trying out. My name is Nick. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Scry Society, where I am either pontificating about TTRPGs or running monthly, semi-monthly charity streams. I started doing this last April, and we've raised over $5,000 for a dozen different charities, kind of doing streams a little bit like this, where we don't really know what's going to happen. And I'm really excited to play tonight.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. I am going to be playing Durian Greyhawk, the Battle Bard. And he has been on quite the adventure. He entered into this place called the Infinite City, which is this realm that exists in all of the realms. The Shattered Realms, which is this world of floating islands. They all have various biomes and cultures and this, that, and the other. But I've entered into the Infinite City and then was immediately sent on a quest to go get the heart of a dying world. Well, little did Durian know that this was all a scam in order to bring back the master of my friend Rascally Rick, the Shadow King. And so I have returned to the Infinite City, and I am searching for clues in order to find my friend Mack and potentially figure out how to utilize the box once again, because right now I can't do that. I have just entered into this street that is like this outdoor casino, but it's like secret and hidden from the rest of the city. Mm-hmm. And someone has offered for me to join some sort of like fighting ring. So we'll see how that goes. And so, yeah, without further ado, I think I'm just going to throw Nick into the deep end. Take it away, good sir.
Yeah. So, when you arrived at this fighting pit, it wasn't the most impressive fighting pit you've ever seen. There's a little dirt pit, a couple of bleachers around, and there's some unsavory characters just kind of beating on each other. And the proprietor of said fighting pits had made a deal with you, offering you help him out by participating in the fighting pit, and he'll return a little bit of information your way. And he says, well, look, hey, be totally honest with you, this whole thing up here, this is just a front. This ain't the fighting pit. You're going to want to come with me. And he walks over to one of the nearby, it looks like an outhouse, and opens up the door and says, after you.
You just want me to... Well, all right. And I'm going to pull my shirt up and cover my nose as I walk into this outhouse.
All right. Well, by the way, I should probably introduce myself before we share my secret outhouse elevator. My name's Lucius Graves.
Lucius, it's very nice to meet you. I am Durian Greyhawk, the Battle Bard. And I give him a tiny little bow in this small outhouse.
Yeah, he's at this point, and he's a little bit of a rough and tumble guy. Looks like maybe back in the day, he in his prime, he was probably like a one of the contestants in the fighting pit himself. Sure. Now he's maybe let himself go a little bit, but he looks like he can still hold his own. He goes and he actually presses into the outhouse with you. The two of you are large guys, so you're kind of like chest to chest. He goes, wait, which one is it? Is it he's pulling on different things. Oh yeah. And he reaches down and pulls on the toilet paper dispenser. Toilet paper exists in this world.
Sure.
And all of a sudden the entire outhouse starts rumbling and lowering into the ground.
Fascinating.
Yeah. It's, I hired this contractor. He really outdid himself. This also is a fully functioning outhouse if you ever need to use it.
Well, I won't take you up on that offer just yet.
And, so you guys have an uncomfortably long silence down. It's only about 15 seconds, but long enough. Yeah. Battle Bard, huh?
Yes,
Like,
that is the title. I come from the Order of the Bards, and I'm quite skilled at fighting, so they've dubbed me the Battle Bard.
hey, well, I guess we'll put that name to the test tonight, huh?
Yes, yes. How long have you been running this illegal operation?
Oh, just I killed the old guy that used to run it. What was it, about 5 years past? He was skimming too much off the top, and me and the boys couldn't tolerate that. So,
Understandable.
it's just business.
Yes, yes.
Hey, and then you hear like a very pleasant ding, and the outhouse door opens up, and you are introduced to a very different sight than up above. Whereas up above, it was this sort of falling apart, kind of ratty looking outfit. You are walking into the medieval equivalent of like a minor league baseball stadium. We're not talking major or anything. I mean, but it is like there is this huge like gladiatorial arena that you can see up ahead of you, and just hundreds and hundreds of people in all of these bleachers lining it, and there looks to be this battle going on the inside of this huge troll, this large green-skinned figure, as like 4 or 5 men in like tattered armor are running around trying to fight the creature.
Well, it seems you weren't completely forthcoming about this fighting arena. I thought it was just fisticuffs, mano y mano.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just what I gotta say up there. But don't worry, you're a battle bard. I'm sure you're gonna just knock this thing right out. It'll be great. And as he says it, you hear this like sound of crunch as like one of the troll's clubs comes down and completely just eviscerates one of the humans down there fighting.
Oh shit, dude. Yes, we will indeed. See.
Hey, don't worry about it. Don't get stressed. He sees you like as like the guy like picks someone up and like pulls him apart and tosses him aside. Oh, don't worry about those guys. This is just our warm up. We like to get the crowd, give them a good show. You probably won't go up against a troll. Don't worry.
Well, all right. I'm definitely, as a bard, as the battle bard, I've kind of talked myself up now. Definitely trying to keep my composure in front of this man. But on the inside, Durian was not entirely prepared for this. I fought monsters before. I can do it again, but I was just like, a couple of punches, some dude falls down. This is not what I expected.
Yeah, he can sense it. He puts his arm around, hey, don't worry, you're gonna be fine. He's like very much trying to turn you away as the troll picks up one of the guys and just like absolutely launches him at one of the other ones. One of them has like thrown a chain around him, and he's just now like throwing the guy around you. So you're like, as he's just, no, don't worry, come down here. I'll explain the rules. By the way, you, okay? As all this is happening, the sound of this cheering crowd, like with every hit, every crunch, there's just this from the crowd, absolutely loving it. And he's like taking you to like some stairs leading down away from the fighting pit, but like further down. He goes, sure. You look like maybe you've been through a scrap or two. Don't worry. We're not going to send you in there as anything other than full strength. We got a special little, call it an injection. It'll bring you back to full strength. So you'll be good to go. You're going to have a hell of a hangover tomorrow, though. And this stuff ain't exactly street legal, so don't go telling anybody about it up on the surface.
Yes, you're saying some sort of illegal concoction that you're going to inject into me? Is that what?
Yeah. Well, we find that if you do it intravenously, it works way faster. We've tried potions and salves and all that. It just takes way too long. So don't worry. We're gonna just take care of that.
Okay.
Okay,
sure,
great.
But
and he pulls a syringe out from his pocket and jams it into your neck as you're standing there. And you, Durian, feel it's actually not like he's like it's a very it's almost like we're talking medical grade thing. Like it's like sure. In and out, and you feel this like sharp pain. But before you can even think about the pain, like you feel this spasm. It's like every muscle in your body feels like it's on fire for a moment, like you're going to explode, and then it sort of settles, and then it's just this like warmth in your chest. But you feel like for a moment you could like lift up a cart and just toss it.
Incredible.
Yeah. So sorry that I technically took that as your verbal waiver, so I think we're all right. Some people have side effects, but they usually take a few hours to manifest. So don't worry, you should be fine. Just walk it off, assuming you survive. I'm just playing. So mechanically, Michael, you are at full health.
Okay.
How many adventure points did you have?
I currently have 6.
Okay, so it'll give you an additional 3. So you'll be up to 9.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, you didn't tell anybody you came here, though, right? Like, nobody's going to come looking for you if you hypothetically were to not exist anymore after tonight.
No, I believe I told everyone I was headed back to the guild hall.
Oh, great. Hey, I like you. You're not going to leave any clues. All right. Here. So you're not going to know your enemy until the fight begins. And he's just continuing to like walk you down. And as you go, by the way, you're seeing all sorts of people. This is an incredibly diverse, the Infinite City itself is a metropolis of people from all across the realm. So you're seeing, typical like fantasy realm creatures you might recognize as like elves or orcs or dwarves. You pass by what looks to be some sort of like automaton or construct with like red eyes that looks at you and like kind of scans you up and down. Another appears to be like a banshee of some sort, just sitting there like sipping a glass of wine. There are, you're pretty sure, what looks to be 3 kobolds in a trench coat, but they move on before you have a chance to verify. And he says, Look, so you're not going to know your enemy until the fight begins. You're allowed to bring whatever weapons you want, any magic items. There's really no rules except that the fight is not over until only one combatant remains, either conscious or alive.
Yes, this is all, this is a lot, okay? This is a lot. I'm just trying to get my bearings here. I thought this was literally a boxing match. I didn't realize that...
You need to take a second? You need me to get you a drink or...
No. I just need a moment. I just clear my head. I lost a friend today, and so I'm a little out of sorts.
Oh, hell, but I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe you can do tonight's fight in his honor.
Yes, perhaps. So Lucius Graves seems he's an overwhelming. He's like a used car salesman. He's just spitting out information constantly, and I can't get a word in edgewise, and I feel overwhelmed, but at the same time, this shot has invigorated this this, I feel great. I feel like I can take on the world once again. And thinking on Mack, I am sad, but I think I'm thinking more about how I'm not that sad at the moment, and I think it's because of these drugs. So this is just all that's going through his mind as he's trying to kind of like quiet him down for a moment and gain his composure.
Yeah, and so he's like, you're just passing by all these people. You're now at this point, you're in like what appears to be like sort of a locker room area. So you pass by, you see there looks to be this like large, hulking horned figure with like red skin wrapping like almost like boxing wraps around his hand. Hey, boss. And you see pass by another little, like it looks like a small little gnome, and he's got more daggers on him than you think you've ever seen a person. Goes, hey, fresh meat, Graves. I'd love to see it. Hey, good luck in there, big guy.
Yes, thanks. You too, gentlemen.
Hey, we got us a fancy one. All right, I can't wait to see this. And Lucia, look, now, hey, don't worry about those guys. They're just joshing you. Okay, so I should mention too, our pit, this fighting pit, we actually call this the Pandemonium Pit. It's filled with both magical and technological enhancements that are going to ensure every fight is unique. So, sometimes things will happen and then things will get a little bit weird. If you ever see like a little magic crate, like a little glowing box, if you can get to it before the other guy gets to it, you'll find yourself a nice little treat inside that might help you out in the battle. But they're only temporary, so if you get it, don't hold on to it for too long. Go ahead and use it, okay?
Sure. Get to the crate, use it immediately. Understood.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that pretty much covers it. No rules. You can kill or be killed. Hey, so do you have any other titles that the announcer should know before we send you up? Vanquisher of Evil, Defeater of the 72 Ogres.
Yes, Slayer of Shadow.
Oh, I like that. Slayer Shadow. All right. Hey, I'll get this
It's
up to the.
it's new. I'm trying it out.
Hey, I like it. Maybe if things go well here, we can have you be a returning guest.
Perhaps.
By the way, before we go up there, this is kind of a lot to do for a little bit of information. So, just so I got a sense of like, are you looking for like a place to get a good haircut, or like what kind of information are you looking for exactly?
Yes. I'm gonna lean in close so that none of the other competitors are listening, and I go,
He sees that you do that, and he like does like one of those with like a short, high pitched whistle, and like nods his head, and they all back away, like giving you guys space.
well, you see, I've found myself in quite the predicament lately. I've found myself on the wrong end of a quarrel with someone known as the Shadow King. Are you familiar?
Roll me a d20.
All right.
Michael.
That is a 14.
Okay. He stops. He looks at you. You can read that he gets a sense when you say that. He goes, "Hey, between you and me, you might want to be careful going around throwing that name around willy-nilly."
And why is that?
Well, I don't want to show my hand before you've done your end of the deal, but let me just tell you that there's a lot of folks in the city who have been whispering that name. A lot of folks who frequent our casino. And all I know is anybody who gets involved with anybody in that group, it's bad news, bud.
Yes.
Had a lot of folks disappearing from the city over the last few weeks. Went looking into that.
Yeah.
But hey, look, we'll worry about that after. I'll start to see if I can dig some stuff up on you know who, and hopefully I'll see you on the other side.
Yes, indeed. A little shook because that moment did finally sink in. You said people are disappearing, and Mack was just on the tip of his tongue, but he held it because he doesn't want to give away too much information to someone he's just barely met. So.
And I want to say with the 14, at that kind of mix, you sensed he's been like a real gregarious kind of like, yeah. You got a sense of like gravitas out of him.
Absolutely.
When you said that.
Yes, well, I look forward to seeing you afterwards, Lucius.
That's the spirit, my guy. And he like puts his hand on your shoulders and says, all right, so you're just going to go in that room. You need some time to warm up or anything?
No, I'm quite fine. Oh, before you leave, Lucius, could you tell me, you said you're down a competitor tonight and I'm taking his place. What happened to that competitor?
Wouldn't you like to know, bud? And he slaps you on the ass and shoves you into the room that's in front of you.
Sure.
And as like kind of a surprisingly strong shove, and you turn back just in time to see him, and he slams the door shut. And you are in a circular room with the magical orbs that are sort of just providing a little like dull yellow, almost torchlight in here. And you can just hear the faint sound of cheering up above before kind of it sort of settles to just a distant hubbub.
Gotcha. These orbs, for whatever reason, they're glowing kind of a yellowish orange. Mm-hmm. For a moment, I see a vision of the giant glowing orb at the center of the city, atop the tower, near the Shadow Walkers Guild. Are they reminiscent of the same type of power or energy, magic or whatnot?
Yeah, I think this is like a microcosm of that. So it's a much smaller and less awe-inspiring effect. But when you get closer, you do see as you look, this is not just like a little flame. I mean, there's like this, it's almost as you get really close to it, an almost entrancing sort of like kind of glow and then dim and then glow. And yeah, you absolutely get a sense that there's some sort of similar kind of, whether it's magic or technology, it's difficult to really, it seems like a perfect almost blending of the two.
Yeah, and once again, kind of staring and walking towards one of these and imagining the orb atop the tower, I begin almost subconsciously saying, "It's the key. It's the key. It's the key." In this like droning state, right? Almost a fugue state for a moment.
And if anyone else were in the room with you, they would see as you're sitting there staring at these orbs and you say, "It's the key. It's the key." At the center of these orbs is like a little bit of blackness. And it starts to grow and grow and grow. And it's sort of, it's starting to envelop the darkness. And every time you say, "It's the key, it's the key," it grows and grows until all of a sudden the room that you're in goes completely black. And then you kind of shake your head. Everything looks exactly the same as it was.
These drugs are pretty good. Yes. Okay. Shake it off. Shake it off, Durian. You've got this. Ooh, and I just kind of like get loose.
At that moment, you hear this sound of like grinding and like some sort of mechanical sound as this whole room starts to vibrate. And you start to move upward, but only the floor. And you realize you're on some sort of like elevator grate. And up above you, a blinding amount of light as this ceiling above you begins to separate, almost like an eye just opening up above. And you hear this roaring of the crowd. And the sound of an announcer comes over.
And introducing. Wait, what does it say here? Oh, he's a replacement for the other guy? The one that got crushed? Okay. Introducing.
Crushed?
Durian Greyhawk, the Battle Bard, Slayer of Shadow.
And there's this roaring of the crowd as you say this.
I take my loot axe off of my back. And I'm just gripping the neck of the loot, and I hold it into the air as I begin to like rise up onto the battlefield. Straight up, very Conan the Barbarian, just holding it straight up in the air.
The camera would pan out. We would just see the first thing that people see is the axe, the loot axe, as it comes up. And actually, you didn't notice it when you were in there, but now that like the light is open, it's actually turning as you come up. So like as you're holding it, you're coming up. And it's spinning, and there is this, as he says, the Slayer of Shadow. Pyrotechnics of just fire shooting up all around you, as the crowd is shouting and screaming this this roar in your ear. And as you look around, now that you're inside this pit, you're in the center of this large circular fighting pit, easily 150 feet wide. And you look around, and it's this very well-made, well-crafted. The walls are like 15 feet high, maybe 20 feet high even, going all the way around where the first bleachers start. And you can see there are even a few people who are on like floating bleachers, floating up above, that must have sort of like VIP passes to see the action up close. The other thing you notice, there are 12 doors spaced equidistant apart around this circle. Okay. Large double iron doors. And each of the doors has a single like image or icon over it. One of them has what looks like a bear claw. Another one has what looks like an angel's halo with like a beam of sunlight going through it. Another one looks like a gear. There's another that looks like fire turning into like water, turning into wind. You don't even have time to take them all in. Sure. There's like lights beaming down at you, and the announcer is just like gassing up the crowd.
Warrior, step forward, choose your fate, and cast the die.
just off the platform you're on, a smaller, maybe about 2 feet wide circle comes up out of the ground, and it goes all the way up to table height. And at the center of that table is like an obsidian stone, multifaceted with multiple sides etched into it, and it appears that each of the symbols from the doors are on this dice.
Okay.
This die. And so the crowd is chanting, "Cast the die, cast the die, cast the die," waiting for you to approach the table.
Kind of just taking in the crowd. My nervousness is almost overridden by this adrenaline, this rush. I live for this, you know what I mean? I spin my axe a couple of times and then slap it on my back and proudly walk toward the pedestal. And I'm assuming you said there's 12 doors, so I'm assuming this is some sort of D12 dodecahedron, if you will.
A dodecahedron, exactly. As you, Durian, approach it, it's a large. It's like the size of like a lemon, or like maybe a plum. It's not little tiny, because it's had to be bigger to have these symbols carved into it, and it's got heft to it.
I hold it and I feel the weight of it. And once again, I look up to the crowd and I hold it up into the air once again.
And they roar and cheer.
I roll it around in my hands just like I'm doing now. I blow it and I release the die onto the table. And the die, it's a 1.
Oh, 1. Okay. So you, Michael, see a 1, but Durian, what you see are 2 crossed pitchforks. And as you look down at these crossed pitchforks, there's this like little bluish light at the center of the dice. And suddenly it shoots up right out of that, casting the symbol into the sky above you. As you see these 2 crossed tridents, and everyone in the crowd cheers, and the lights suddenly change to this like hellish red.
Oh, God.
As the crowd starts to cheer, and the announcer says,
He rolled for the symbol of the hells.
and everyone just cheers this like roiling mass of people. You actually see there's people that didn't notice it before, wearing different memorabilia or like merchandise for the different symbols.
Sure.
And there's a huge like hellfire section of just like people with like horns, and they've got the pitchforks, and they're all cheering, and a bunch of them are on like a big like mega screen up above, and they're like,
There's like 4 dudes in the front that are like painted red with like hell written across their chest.
Yeah, except they're drunk, so it's like HLEL, and they're like, no, move around. Yeah, and it's just everyone's losing their mind. And do you have anything was Durian doing in this moment now? So it seems like the crowd is reacting. Is there anything you're doing before the next step is taken here?
I think I want to flip off my axe one more time and start playing a little ditty. A slow blue glow comes from my axe and then covers my body in a sheen of like a light blue. And I'm gonna cast shield on myself because
I love that.
I feel like I need to prepare myself.
Go ahead and just give me a quick D20. I want to see how the crowd reacts to this showmanship, this magical display. And this is going to also take in like you coming up with the axe and everything.
Okay. So that is an 8.
So you see, like, as this like covers you, there's suddenly like a picture, like a stylized picture of you up above at the top. On this big screen where you'd previously seen other people, and then similarly you see this like demonic visage, and there looks to be like a little bar going up and down as it appears as if the crowd is like reacting and betting. And you see that as you react this, and there's the announcer's like, well folks, it looks like he's using a bit of protection magic. I hope it holds out for him. And like people, you see that the betting odds start going in favor of the demon, the demonic visage. You still got some folks in your corner. You actually recognize, was it Johnny, the old drunk guy from episode 1? You see he's actually in the front. Hey, I know that guy. And he's really drunk. And he's like, you see, he's like betting.
What was he
he's like,
doing here?
Yeah, bet for that guy. He fixed the lake. Yeah. There's the door over which you see the crossed pitchforks now. All the lights, ding, 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 this like spotlight all go there, and the rest of the place is completely dark except for one spotlight over you at the center and this door, and it just starts clink, 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 as it opens, and this like roiling smoke comes out from within, and you see these. The first thing you actually see are what look like maybe like these two thick legs, followed by this dropping, clinking of a metal chain on either side. And as the door keeps rising, eventually revealing this figure with reddish skin, incredibly muscular body with this like ridiculously long arms wrapped around which are these spiked chains. Its head is humanoid, but it's been twisted into this like horrible demonic. It's got these like big pointed ears, eyes that are like yellow and narrowed to this almost like hunter's visage that's like looking out at you. And on kind of hovering in the air around it are these two small impish creatures, much smaller, with these little like bat wings. And all around you hear this, and you see like cracks forming in the ground coming from where you are, going in every single direction, just one big one and then splintering out. And suddenly you see this gout of flame come up, and within moments crumbling, this land now devolving into a mass of lava around you, with just these large land masses of the sandy pit left from which you might be able to navigate by moving around. And as that happens, you see that demon gets this like wicked smile on its face and starts spinning those chains and walking out of the door towards you.
So as the ground begins to crackle and fall away into these lava flows, wherever I'm standing in the moment and it's safe, I feel the twinge at my side. And I look down at the glowing pommel of my sword. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant my axe down onto the ground, and I'm also going to do the same thing with the blink blade. I'm going to stick it down into the ground as it just sticks out of the sand slightly.
When you grab the blink blade and you go to like stick it into the ground, before you pull your hand away, you hear a voice in your head.
Use me.
That sent a real chill down my spine. Great job. With everything that's been happening, everything that's been going on, but these drugs like rushing through my veins and just feeling this like drive, I feel as though I'm unstoppable. I can overpower this curse. And so I will, in fact, use it as I plant it into the ground, looking at it as I release my hand from it. And I think I'm going to charge at this creature.
So go ahead. You start charging, and I will say you are able to close the distance at least to where he's like running at you as well. So he was spinning the chains and getting like faster and faster and faster, and now he's just like running full speed. He's not waiting for you. He's charging to meet you. So what is going to be your first action as the two of you come to close? And I will say, as he approaches, you see he like gestures with his head left and right, and the two imps go left and right and then blink out of existence.
Gotcha. So as I'm running directly towards him, they blink away, and like Thor and Hulk, I leap into the air, axe behind me as it swings around, and I'm going to try to like chop down on him as we collide.
I love that. Go ahead and give me a roll.
16.
Okay, a 16. Wait, sorry, was this a reckless or is this a regular?
Just a standard attack.
Okay. So with a 16, you are absolutely able to connect. You see what happens. He throws up as you charge. He tries to wrap his chains like around you, and you basically skid below it on the lava, and you get on the rock right to the edge of it and leap off of it. And you're able to then is trying to pull back, and he turns and you bury the axe right into this thing's shoulder, and you just see this like black ichor and blood pour out of it. How much damage does that attack do? Is that
just
straight?
Two. Standard attack.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you yank the axe out. And he like pulls the chains back and just does that like a roar in your face, and you see like hellfire at the back of his mouth. So he is going to as he like steps back from you a little bit, he's then going to try to lash out and use his entangle attack on you.
Oh, okay.
He goes to lash out at you with this chain attack, and already I'm going to say you were sort of like, as you were charging towards him, you were watching the timing of these chains and already starting to figure out this guy's rhythm, and that's how you were able to dodge the first one. As the second chain goes to attack you, I'm going to let you decide how this failure manifests. He got a 5. As one of his chains was coming straight towards you.
Luckily, I have an ability called counterattack. If they roll a failure or worse, you may immediately attack back.
Okay, so you just tell me, what does that look like as he basically whips out, and you see this is no regular chain. It's like a bladed, spiked, wicked chain, and it's coming right for you.
Sure. I want to B-twist over it, very Spider-Man style, and just kind of roll as it passes under me. And using the momentum as I land, reverse the action and slice toward his leg.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and see that roll then, as you swipe at his leg.
Ooh, that is a 5.
Okay. So in a interesting chain of events.
Hey.
I'm going to say, so he kind of flung this at you sort of scorpion style, and that's why you were able to just kind of like leap over it, go down, and as you went to like swipe at him, he, seeing what you were doing, whipped his hand around behind him, and his his chain wrapped around your arm and held it tight. And so the two of you were in this like he's still trying to pull his other chain back, and he's got you locked down there with your axe locked up next to him.
Cool.
As that was just your counterattack. So
Sure.
that would be your turn, except you suddenly hear behind you this like little hideous laughter as one of the or both of the imps that were hidden emerge from their invisibility. Man, I didn't roll above a 10 for either. A 4 and a 9. The one with a 9, he's able to stab you. His tough choice is going to be he can attack you, but he's going to lose his dagger in doing so, because your like reaction, you twist and turn and basically like pull the dagger from his hands.
Sure.
So he's going to accept that tough choice, and so you're going to take 1 point of damage from his little silvered dagger. As it stabs into you. The other one just got a complete failure, and so as he goes to attack, you like block him. You've got your shield arm is wrapped up. Does Durian have armor?
Well, currently I have my armor, so that he hits my shield, and there's like a big blue like ripple across my body.
And I'll say the other one goes to like stab you, and you actually like grab his little wrist and yank it, and so the dagger like falls from his hand and sinks into the lava.
Nice.
So that's actually the imp's turn. They did not do too hot, and they cannot return to their invisibility until their next turn. So you are there with the chain devil's chain wrapped around your axe, and these two imps behind you, one of which is now unarmed.
Yes.
Oh, actually, sorry. Wait, real quick. I need you to roll a d8 for me.
Oh, okay. This is the most dice you'll ever use in this game, I swear.
I know. I'm sorry, folks. So this show is called Random Tables, so I thought I'd add a little bit of random tables.
I love it
tonight.
That is going to be a 4.
Okay. Interesting. You're like in this struggle here, holding onto your axe, trying to get the chain off of it. These two little guys are trying to stab you, and you see off to the side, about maybe 30 feet from you, one of those lava. One of the pieces of land that's not in the lava opens up, and this blue glowing crate comes out and just starts like hovering in the air, floating there.
He said one of the things is like, get there first, get that loot crate first.
Yep.
So, actually, no, I'm not going to go for the loot crate right now. I do want it, but I'm not going to go for it just now. So instead, what I'll do is I want to kind of run by his side and use the chain to kind of pull him down to one knee.
Okay, I love that. Let's get a roll and see how this goes.
Nat 20. Nat 20. I swear to God.
Yes. Okay. I love it. All right. Not only I'm gonna say, are you able to, as you go, you actually have enough time. You actually run around him in a circle as he goes to like swipe at you with one of his claws. You skin past and you slam down to the ground, and you've actually successfully wrapped it around his throat.
Hell yeah.
So when you yank him down, you've also almost made like a sort of chain garrote of his own weapon. And I'm going to say that's going to deal, as a triumph, I'm going to say that's going to deal, what would your weapon normally do? 2? Mm-hmm. I'm going to say this is going to do 4 damage as you see the blades of this like sinking into his throat. He does not look like he is doing too hot.
Oh shit. Okay.
And he's down on the ground. And meanwhile, as this has been happening, every hit, the crowd has been losing it. And when you pulled this thing down and you started screaming, you see like now the little meter there for you is starting to go up and go up as the crowd is starting to sway in your favor and people are cheering. And the announcer is basically WWE style, like calling this whole match as it's happening. And he goes,
He's got him down by his own chain.
Wow, that did way more than I expected. Okay, well, maybe I don't even need that loot crate. I don't know, can I hold an action? I don't know how you feel about that.
Sure.
I know these little bastards are going to try to come once again. So I want to hold my action, and when one of those things appears near me, and call my blink blade back to me.
Okay. All right. So seeing their kind of like their guy in danger, he says, the two little imps are like chittering in some sort of language you don't understand at each other, and they both blink out of existence as they turn invisible. And you readying your action, we'll see how this goes. One of the imps is going to get you with a success, and the other one is going to have a tough choice. So I think the way narratively we'll resolve this, you're going to take 1 damage, but you tell me what is the setback for him as you get blink back in your hand.
I'm willingly letting these guys get in close.
Yeah.
So as he comes in, I take the one and I kind of like reach for him and I miss, and I know the other one's coming. So as it strikes me, I want to grab it by the throat and I want to say return. As I'm holding its throat, I want the blade to return to my hand.
It returns to your hand, and as it manifests straight through this thing's chest, and then you hear,
Yes. Yes.
and you see, you haven't seen this before, but the blade doesn't just kill him, it suddenly, and you see what looks like this creature's life force itself drawn and sucked into the blade as he like withers into ash.
Oh my god, because I have not killed anybody with this thing yet, so that's fuck, okay.
And as you look down, it appears that the blade has taken on this sort of like fiery demonic glint, and so you don't know exactly what that means, but he says,
I have been empowered. Use me before it fades.
But before you have a chance to react, it is the Chain Devil's turn.
Big boy. Yeah, okay.
And he is actually, so you can tell he has ultimately control over these chains. And so he puts his hand to his throat, and you just watch the chain dissolve into like corroded metal dust around his throat, all the way down like a snake almost to your hands as it dissolves into dust. And he turns around, looks at you, and then he looks to the side, and he throws his one remaining chain out towards the crate.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going to roll to see whether or not he's able to get it.
Oh, God. Healing potion? No.
Man, these dice are really working out for you tonight, because that is like my third 5 I've rolled.
Wow. Hell yeah,
a failure. He throws the chain out, and as it like wraps around the chain, he goes to pull it, and like you are able to, you're in his space, and the two of you are still kind of struggling. And as he goes to yank it, he pulls it to not towards him, but actually like angling it in your direction.
Okay. So the Blink Blade has told me use me, but I'm not going to use it as intended. I look at it and I say, oh, I will. And I, flourish it a bit. And as he pulls the chain, I want to plow it through the chain, stopping him from like actually continuing the pull.
Yeah.
So that as he has to loose himself, I can get to the box.
Awesome.
That's what I would like to do.
And what you see is as the blade hits the chain, this like reddish glint that was on it, it causes it to like melt right through the chain, basically using up the energy that had been like held up in it. You get the sense that as it absorbed the essence of whatever creature it just killed, it sort of became more powerful, and you were able to then use that to cleanly swipe through these infernal chains that are not like any mundane chains you might find here in the regular world.
And as the box like is now free,
it like clatters.
Yeah, I'm going to make a mad dash to reach for it.
I'm going to say you easily have enough movement. So you basically cut the chain, and then it comes crashing onto the like lava platform that you're on. That's sort of kind of floating and moving as the two of you are fighting, but you're able to kind of get it to land in such a way it starts to skid towards you, and you are able to catch up to it.
Cool.
And as you touch it, you think it's like a crate that you're gonna have to like open, but as you do, the bluish glow, actually you realize the crate itself is almost like an illusion as it like crumbles away, revealing like an item floating there in the air like this. It is a like metal gauntlet just floating there in the air right in front of you.
Okay. Camera cuts to my eyes, squinting with a little smile, and I uppercut through the gauntlet and clasp it on my hand.
And as you do, you see that like engraved in letters on the bottom of it, just as the name, The Catcher. And the crowd seeing this goes, Catcher, Catcher, Catcher. And you see there's also like foam versions of the Catcher as like people are like throwing them up in the air. Like everyone very clearly knows about the magic items that are used here, and like but don't know which ones are going to make the appearance. You don't know what it does just yet, but as you grasp it, it's basically like 3 times the size of like what should be a normal gauntlet, and it's got these like spikes on it. You get the sense that this thing is meant for like protection.
With it now, is it right-handed or left-handed? This is
what
important.
What hand would you like it to be on?
I want you to tell me.
I am going to say that it is, here, we're going to say 10 and below it's left, 11 and up it's right. I got a 2, so it's left-handed.
All right. So as I've uppercutted, I look to the monstrosity before me. I sling my axe cockily on my shoulder, and I say, "Have at thee, villain." And I'm going to allow him to make the next move.
As he stands up, you see it's crawling out of the skin of his flesh, the flesh of his shoulders itself. like the metal spiked chain, almost like a snake, growing out of his body, going down both of his arms. As you just see him, it's almost like it's causing him pain to do this, but these chains form around him once again, and he spins them, and he starts spinning them so they're like hitting each other, making this spark over and over and over, and then he lashes out in your direction with a double attack of the chains. So he's going to basically be doing this as like his version of a wild attack.
Absolutely.
Folks at home, that's a 1.
Oh, fucking A, dude.
That is a
Hell
1.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to change out my dice after this. I want you, Michael. You tell me. You see, he got these chains. They were almost like red hot as he flung them towards you, and you see the front of them are not just chains, but they're like spikes at the front.
Sure.
And they are flying straight towards you. And the crowd has gone like completely silent as you like allowed this to happen. It's just, and there's like ashes falling in the air around you, and you just see them coming like slow motion through the air.
Sure. So as they slow motion are kind of like clanging together towards me, he has some sort of power to somewhat angle them. I hold up the catcher. And basically like a full stop sign, boom. And I'm going to, as intended, catch these chains. I don't know what's going to happen if I try to do that. So first I want to...
So this is cool. I'll read it to you. While wearing the gauntlet, this is from the quest guidebook, you can grab a bladed weapon that is about to strike you. And grabbing the blade prevents an enemy from hitting you, even if the attack was successful. And you may take the weapon from them.
All right. So, with that, as it basically, it hits the front of the gauntlet, instead of just like a regular like clang and I grasp, it basically goes into the gauntlet like it's some sort of portal. Right? The chains go in and are almost like ripped out of his shoulders, out of his arms, and with a single like spin pirouette almost, I'm going to send it flying whoosh, back towards the demon.
So rips out of his back, and you just see this huge ichor, like pouring of blood and ichor coming from these wounds in his back. And he looks up just in time as through one through his throat, the other one through his chest, where you imagine his heart might be. And then the chains, like superheated from this exchange, bury into him, and he collapses to the ground. And you see the other imp looks down at the ruined chain devil and at like what's left of its companion, and it turns to like fly away. But suddenly, this black and purple rift opens up in the air. It's like it hurts your brain to look at this thing. It's suddenly a space that wasn't there is suddenly there. Inky blackness and this purplish color that's like glowing on the edges, like a fire that's just cooled down, almost like embers, but it's this black and purple. And this imp is like flying away, looking back at you, and suddenly this huge gauntleted black plate hand reaches out and grabs this thing, and you just see it and open up its hand and drop it. And then as the rift continues to open, stepping forth from it, you see this large black-plated figure in this armor that looks like it's been crafted from shadow itself. On the elbows are these like large spikes and these like rigid gauntlets going up. The knees look to be like a screaming visage, matching this like huge screaming face on its chest. A helm with just like a slit of visor with this like red glowing eyes that turn and look in your direction, Michael. Durian, excuse me. You hear the announcer who's like looking around.
What's this? Looks like we've got a new challenger of some sort. Stay tuned, folks. What's going on?
And this figure is just turning. It's like looking all around it. And then it sets its eyes straight on you. And that rift behind it just closes. He is almost 12 feet tall.
Sure.
And his sword is probably at least half that length. It's like a giant black flamberge, like that, the large, I'm probably pronouncing it incorrectly, but that long, wavy blade that comes to a tip. And he's just pulled it out and has it at his side.
As Durian, momentarily victorious, had turned his back, facing the crowd, they started to cheer, and that cheer fell to silence. I turn and I look at this giant. Just a little smile.
Yeah.
And we'll go to a blackout. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Random Tables. Thank you so much for your patience while I edited this. It was a beast to edit. Plus, I had a lot of life stuff going on, so it happens. If you like this show, check out our other show, Dueling Dungeon Masters, where you can see me and a lot of other really cool people. And if you really like what we're doing here at Part-Time Heroes, follow us on social media. You can join our Discord, maybe even consider becoming a patron, grab some cool swag. All of it goes to making this show and all of our other shows better. So thank you so much, and I will see you on another Random Table.